In many global M&A transactions, India may not be the headline, but it often plays a critical role behind the scenes. If you are acquiring a global business that has operations in India, you may be triggering legal and tax requirements without realizing it. These are called indirect acquisitions, and they can have a far more legal and tax impact than many deal teams expect. Let's say a US company acquires a UK headquartered group. That UK headquartered group owns a Dutch subsidiary which holds shares in an Indian company. No shares of the Indian entity are directly transferred, but its effective control has changed. Now that's an indirect acquisition. And under Indian law, that can trigger approvals, filings, and tax consequences. If the Indian company operates in a regulated sector like defense, an indirect change in control may require government approval. And if the buyer is linked to a country bordering India like China or Bangladesh, Presto 3 approval becomes mandatory even for indirect ownership. Clearances like these can take months, and if they are not factored in early, they delay closing. India's competition law may also apply if the parties cross certain revenue or assets thresholds in India. These filings must be planned well in advance. If the Indian entity is listed, an indirect acquisition of its parent company can also trigger SEBI's takeover code. This may require an open offer to public shareholders along with pricing rules, escrow requirements, and SEBI approval timelines, often adding 3 to 4 months to the process. Separately, if Indian assets make up a significant portion of the group's value, the transaction may be taxed in India as an indirect transfer, triggering capital gains tax, withholding obligations, and a need for Indian tax registrations for the foreign buyer before closing. Don't overlook governance either. Indian companies require, for instance, at least 2 directors, with at least one of them should be a resident in India. They also need to have 2 shareholders. So even if the parent wants full control, one share is usually held by a group entity or nominee. These aren't just procedural matters, they are actually very essential for lawful control and smooth governance. So, if your global M&A deal touches India, even indirectly, don't leave it as an afterthought. Identify compliance early, structure smartly, and close with confidence.